What is up, everybody out there in HeroClix land? This once again is Scott Porter back for day 2 of our brand new unboxing series, Fantastic Four and the Future Foundation. That is right. Yesterday saw a really wide array of really cool Fantastic Four heroes with a couple of villains thrown in, but under the caveat that they were acting as heroes at the time. We didn't see any super rares, but we did see a legacy card, our first ever legacy card, a foil card that lets you use old figure bases brought up to new standards with a brand new Powers card, which is really, really cool, which we have here. Ooh, look at that foil. Look at that shininess. It reminds me of being back in the 90s and buying Marvel Comics cards, hoping to get that foil Thanos. I still have binders and binders of them. Yes, I was also buying football cards and basketball cards, but the comic cards were the first ones to really go after, like go ham on the foil stuff. And now we have it in a HeroClix, which is pretty cool. We opened the Fast Forces yesterday, the Dyson Tokens pack yesterday, and I'm just excited for what today could bring. Like I said, no super rares, no primes, but the set so far is showing itself to be very, very cool. Pulling from a lot of Jonathan Hickman's run, Matt Fraction run, James Robinson's run, a lot of the more modern age Fantastic Four tales. The first Fantastic Four set we got 6 months ago was a lot of Mark Waid and the past beyond that. And now we're really looking to the future. It's called Future Foundation. So a lot more modern tales, which is really, really cool. Still excited. I know that there are items coming. I know that there are more villains coming. Doom, I think versions of Doom are going to be the chases, judging by the back of the box. I can't wait for that. And yeah, the set comes out February 17th, hopefully. But just keep in mind with everything going on in the world right now, some delays are happening. But know that February 17th is the target date for this set to come out. So call your local gaming store, your local comic store, and order some of yours today. Okay, let's see what we get today in our boosters. I'm very excited. I want the rest of the Moloids for sure. I want V and Wu from the Future Foundation. I really want Bentley 23. He has become one of my favorite characters in Marvel Comics, and I don't know why I just opened this by the bottom of the box, but I did. See, I'm scattered. I'm so excited. Just scattered. Ooh, whoa. Okay. It looks like we've got some scroll versions of the Fantastic Four. Here we go with Skrull, Mr. Fantastic, and Skrull, Invisible Woman. Ooh, this is giving me hope. We got Pybok yesterday. This is giving me hope maybe we get a new Elijah, the Laser Fist, who was in the newest run of Future Foundation, along with this girl right here, Julie Power. And seeing Julie Power in the set is giving me hope that we get Ricky Barnes. That would be such a cool get in this set. We've got the Future Foundation costume, Ben Grimm there, the Thing. And we got Leech, who we did see yesterday. But again, I'm telling you, man, all of these sculpts, even somebody as little as Leech, the Future Foundation costumes are not easy to apply, I would assume, on miniatures like this. And the paint jobs are just impeccable. Okay, I'm going to put Leech over here. Okay, we've got Skrull, Mr. Fantastic, Skrull, Invisible. Are we going to get Skrull versions of the whole Fantastic Four? I'm not hating on it. I just, at the same time, I'm like, oh man, there's so many characters I want to be seeing. Sometimes the unexpected characters are fantastic. Sometimes the unexpected characters are taking up a slot of somebody else you were hoping to get. We'll see what happens. Let's start with Skrull, Invisible Woman, and Mr. Fantastic here. Invisible Woman comes in at 30 points. She has the team player team ability, which is a wild card team ability. Comes in at 30, like I said. She's set number 2. Okay, see the sculpt there. It's actually a pretty cool sculpt. And then let's take a look at Skrull, Mr. Fantastic. He's got Skrulls, Monster, Soldier, and Spy, set number 18. And he comes in at 30 points. So they both come in at 30 points. They both got the Skrull team ability. Whew. I will show you the back of their cards now. Okay. Okay, Mr. Fantastic, the back of his card, he's got plasticity. He's got some poison there. It looks like, interesting. This is a very secret invasion era time period here. There's Skrull, Invisible Woman. She's got a lot of stealth. She's got incapacitate, willpower. Look at that. All right, shape change. Of course, all of the shape change. They should have it. There we go. 2 Skrull Fantastic Four versions in this pack. I can't wait to see Skrull Human Torch and Skrull Thing as well. Okay, let's take a look here at the Thing. He is a captain. Now, yesterday, we introduced the ideas of allies and sidekicks, and now captains as well. He is set number 20. He comes in at 60 or 40 points. Whoa, okay, so the first thing we got in the Fast Forces set was only 50 points. This thing is only 60 points. It seems like we're getting lower pointed versions of the Thing. We're talking about the guy who has gone toe-to-toe with the Hulk and with all of the biggest bruisers in the universe, and we're packing him in at 50 points and 60 points. I'm hoping to see a bigger version of him. I know the Fast Forces in the Fantastic Four set 6 months ago was pretty yoked, but I still want to see some of that here too. All right, Fantastic Four team ability. He's got you got to be tough, kid. Friendly sidekicks can use toughness. Okay, so that's what's going to be happening here. We've got captains, if they have a sidekick on their team, are going to gain toughness. So with Leech or with Valeria, who we got yesterday, they all of a sudden gain toughness because Ben Grimm is their captain. He's protecting them. He's looking out for them. That's pretty cool, but still, the point costs are hyper low. I don't know. There's going to be a lot of big numbers of figures on teams, I think, coming out of this set. Some of the dials are super deep, and his was pretty impressive, but granting toughness to everybody else on the team if you pick a bunch of sidekicks is actually kind of cool. Okay, let's see. We've got Julie Power now. Okay, Julie Power is captain and sidekick all rolled into one. Set number 35 comes in at 50 points. Fantastic Four and Power Pack keywords. We got Alex yesterday. And this is the newest Future Foundation costume from this Galactic Jailbreak storyline that happened in 2019. It's only a 5-issue limited series. I wish it would have gone on for longer. It was a 5-issue run. I think they had big plans for it to go further. I wish it would have continued on. The whole idea of Future Foundation right now is that once Mr. Fantastic went away from kind of leading them, he gave Dragon Man an algorithm that will find them the proper leader or teacher or professor that they would need in any given situation. So it's this kind of cool concept that the Future Foundation is a perfect place for allies of the Fantastic Four to guest star as as professors for the Future Foundation, and they have been tasked with going into the multiverse and finding all of the pieces of Owen Reese as he was scattered, pieces of him into each universe in the multiverse, going and trying to put Owen Reese back together. That's the Future Foundation's new goal. So they're in search of that, and so this is the costume for that run. It says, need a ride? Hypersonic speed. When Julie Power uses it, you may choose a friendly sidekick that she moved adjacent to during the action, and after resolutions, place that sidekick adjacent to her. Okay, so she can go pick somebody up on the way in the middle of hypersonic, which is kind of cool. I don't know if she does that, if it affects her movement or not, but that is pretty cool to be able to go rescue somebody out of a sticky situation while using her hypersonic speed, and she'll be able to still attack somewhere along the way. She has leadership, and remember, she's a captain and a sidekick, so she kind of her specialty is that she can get sidekicks out of trouble, but then she could also benefit from somebody like Ben Grimm, who would give her toughness on top of this super senses that she already has on her dial, which would never hurt for a speedster like Julie Power. Lightspeed, as we like to call her. Okay, very cool. Booster number 1. See, I told you yesterday, I know it was an hour long, and I'm sorry about that, but I thank you guys so much for sticking with me yesterday. We had so much to get through, but I told you things would move faster as we go throughout the week. And yeah, I am hyper excited. I know I cut the bottom because I only had to cut 1 piece of tape. If you cut the top, you got to cut 2 pieces of tape. And you got to rip the whole thing open. You know, it wasn't too bad to open from the bottom. Okay, here we go. Ooh, all right. We are, I think, going to get the whole power pack here because we just got Katie Power. Woohoo! Nice. Oh, wait a minute. In the middle of the booster, we had a super rare. Yes, our first super rare, and it is Uatu. Oh, that is dope. We got Uatu on an actual figure base, not a giant, not a colossal, not in an extra pack. That is pretty cool. We've got Mick, one of the Moloids, one of the Moloid brothers. The last one we're missing now is Tong, who is the Moloid sister. And we got Bentley 23. I'm very excited about that. And we got the scroll version of the Thing. Ask and you shall receive. In these 2 boosters, we got scroll versions of 3 out of the 4. Fantastic Four. And last but not least, guys, we got our first item. And guess what? I know it's pictured on the outside of the box, but it is the ultimate Nullifier. Ooh, I mean, that is a pretty powerful artifact to just be laying around on the ground for anybody to pick up. I'm excited to see what that thing does, if it's a real game changer in HeroClix. We shall see. Okay, let's take a look at, oh man, a lot to choose from here. Let's start with that scroll version of the Thing. I think if I'm ranking them from worst to first, I think, not that any of these figures are the worst, but if I'm from least excited, I think probably the Thing. So let's start with the Thing. Set number 3, 30 points, just like the other 2 scroll-ified Fantastic Four versions. Real name is unknown. Got the scroll team ability, only 30 points. So let's see. Yeah, 5 clicks long. Super strength and charge, not too shabby. If you're trying to fill out a scroll team, if you want to use Paibok as like a team leader in this set as a bit of a temple, you can do that. You can fill it out with some other scrolls, self-contained within the set. You know what I didn't look at, though, was if either of the other 2 scrolls had a name. Oh, yeah, the Invisible Woman, of course. Delilah. That's pretty cool. The Mr. Fantastic's name is unknown. But that makes sense. The other Fantastic Four, their significant appearance, it says Black Panther, but hers actually says Fantastic Four number 347 back in the day in 1990. So a little interesting side bit there. Okay, let's go to Katie. I'm excited. That means we're going to get Jack as well. Here we go. Set number 17 comes in at 25 points. She has the same trait as Alex Power had on day 1. I'll read it today to refresh your memories. Free. If you have 2+ characters with this trait and different names on your force, choose another of those characters. Until your next turn, Katie Power and the chosen character can't use their displayed powers and instead can use each other's displayed powers and range values and can't be chosen for or activate this effect. She's got energy explosion. She's got exploit weakness. And you take a peek here on the back. Now, this coupled with Julie actually worries me a little bit because the Julie power that we had that in the books, in the Future Foundation, actually utilized this technique, it did not get the we swapped powers again. I think it's a little bit of a bummer to me. I think all of the power pack, I think this one here, this Julie Power, she should have had we swap powers again, quite honestly. This version with hypersonic speed, in this suit, actually took Alex Powers, see this Future Foundation 2019, that storyline, she takes Alex Power's gravity control to save everyone in the Future Foundation. They end up in Bentley 23's pocket universe. The door disappears. They're floating in space. Their entire ship has been destroyed. And the Future Foundation builds this device to get themselves out of this sticky situation. But in order to do that, she needs to take all of the powers onto herself. It's a bummer. It's a miss, I think, as far as that shared power. I guess they're only giving it to older versions of the Power Pack, which tell me that we're probably going to get multiple versions of Julie Power. We're probably going to have multiple versions of Alex Power. I would think that Katie and Jack would only have one version, but who knows? But that being said, I wonder if we get Power Pack versions of Franklin and Valeria. I don't know. At least we're getting different time frames, but I think that one was a little bit of a miss. Okay, moving on. Oh man, where do I go, Mick or Bentley? I'm going to go Mick first. Again, these little guys are so funny. Mick, Tong, Kor, and Turg, the four of them together, all saved by Ben Grimm. Only has stealth. Some exploit weakness there. Only comes in at 10 points, but remember, is a sidekick. So you can sidekick all of the Moloids with Ben Grimm. They all get toughness. And, they look up to Ben Grimm, like I said on day one, like the aliens in Toy Story look up to the Claw. Whenever the Ben is around, they are just so excited. They want to celebrate the Ben. I imagine them going, the Ben, like the Claw, just constantly following him. They're always climbing all over him. There's one particular panel there, everybody's eating breakfast, and he's just it looks like he's trying to eat yogurt or something. And they're like, what is the Ben eating? We want some. And they're just climbing him, trying to get, and he's holding the yogurt up in the air. It's just, it's really funny. It changed the whole dynamic. The whole idea of the Future Foundation living in the Baxter Building changed the whole dynamic of the Fantastic Four. And, it is interesting. The Fantastic Four, Reed and Sue specifically, as parents, aren't always, the greatest. It's hard to say, but they became more aware of all of the children in their stead. And, really walked the fine line of when do we teach children certain things. And I respect that. I got two little ones, a 5 and a 3-year-old. And reading those books, they were all very impactful, actually, because just because you're an adult and you're a parent doesn't mean that you got everything figured out. Just because you're Reed Richards doesn't mean you even got everything figured out. And you're going to make mistakes, and they make mistakes constantly. But how kids react to that, they are so... they rebound from anything, really, kids do. And it's really cool to see that evolution of the Fantastic Four and the Future Foundation books. I couldn't recommend reading the Future Foundation run enough. I love all of it. And then when you have Scott Lang come in and having come off the tale of losing his own daughter Cassie, being killed by Dr. Doom, he steps in to kind of parent the Future Foundation, and She-Hulk is trying to figure out how to teach children. And Darla, who never even wanted kids in the first place, is trying to figure it out. And Medusa, who is a queen and is used to dealing things with a very imperial nature, has to learn that these are not her children, but are children nonetheless. You see a softening of all these characters around the kids in the Future Foundation, who are just incredible characters in their own right. Really, really great writing on all fronts. Everybody who has ever written them. Okay, let's see. It looks like Bentley has gotten a hold of our TV. We've lost the image, but that was, see, Bentley 23 just likes to cause trouble, and that's where we're going next. So let's take a peek at what Bentley 23 has got going on. The Fantastic Four is his lone keyword. He's number 24 in the set. He is a sidekick. He is set number 20. He has a special damage power, Secret Dreams of Being a Supervillain. Leadership. When Bentley 23 uses it and succeeds, instead of the normal effect, he may remove an action token from all adjacent sidekicks. When he uses it, and the result is a 1, remove an action token from an opposing character of your choice. That's awesome. They gave him leadership. That is so cool, and he gets to do it for other sidekicks. This is the first sidekick that we've seen with a special power all his own, but because he is a sidekick, he can really get the benefits of all of the captains or the allies that you may have on your friendly team. I love it. He's kicking rocks there. Yes, very cool. He's got a little bit of mastermind. That's great. Bentley 23 is such a cool character, and out of all of the Future Foundation has so much depth. Again, he's a clone of the Wizard. The Wizard tries to force him to grow in his image. He constantly, the Wizard, who is losing his mind, really in a very sad way, tries to force his son to be an evil visage of himself, and it just, Bentley doesn't take to it. He has tendencies, of course. He builds weapons of mass destruction, but he really is, at his core, his own person, Bentley 23, even though he's a clone of a villain. And there's a storyline early on in the Future Foundation run where, or actually late in Jonathan Hickman's run, where AIM becomes its own sovereign nation, and the Wizard is there on the island with them, and he's falling apart. And AIM offers to exchange him for sovereignty, basically, of their own, being recognized by the United States and the Fantastic Four, of course, as their own island nation who is, advanced idea mechanics trying to go straight. And the Wizard, who is broken, Bentley is allowed to see him and have a discussion with him. And he brings his helmet, the Wizard's helmet, and he sets it in the middle of the room, and he tells him, focus on the helmet, Dad. Find yourself. Just focus on that and remember who you are. And he wants so badly for his father to become good, even though his father is trying to force him to become evil. He wants to believe that his father is not evil through and through. And the end of that scene actually ends up with Bentley kicking his dad in the nuts and telling him to screw himself, because his dad just constantly is berating him and telling him that he can't escape his true nature. He will be a villain. He will be everything the Wizard wants him to be. And in that moment, Bentley 23 really goes, you know what? No, I won't. I'm going to choose my own path. And I'm so lucky to be with the Future Foundation. And I hurt for you, Dad, and I want you to change. But if you can't, then I have to move on. And it's just such a really grounded and emotional way to approach this father-son relationship, and it was just fantastic. Again, Hickman's run is almost untouched in my mind as far as not just Fantastic Four stories, but stories overall in the Marvel Universe. Okay, let's move on. Let's take a peek at the Ultimate Nullifier, which we did get in here. The Ultimate Nullifier is a light object. Okay. Its effect is power. Choose an opposing character within 6 squares and line of fire, then choose a number from 1 to 6 to be X and roll the d6. If the result is higher than X, deal X damage to the chosen character. If the result is lower than X, deal X damage to this character. If the result is equal to X, deal X damage to both characters. So you're choosing how much the dial you want to actually turn up, how much damage you actually want to do. Of course, you're not going to choose 6, because the only way, you would have to deal 6 damage to yourself and the opposing character, but 3, 4, etc., and then you hope to roll higher and just damage your enemy. Any character in this square holding this object has the power and can equip this object. Unequipped to drop. When unequipped, place this object in the previously equipped character square. Wow. That's pretty cool. It's not, destroying Galactus or an entire universe deadly, but it is pretty deadly. It is a gamble, though. You really have to choose the right moment to use it, and, to deal that much damage. You could say 5, but you got to roll a 6 only to deal 5 to the opponent. If not, chances are you're dealing that much damage to yourself. So that is a little bit dangerous. Okay, Uatu. Here we go. Let me just put the figure in here first so you get a good peek at him. Again, guys, the paint jobs and the sculpts look fantastic. The size of Uatu is great. before we look at his card, I gotta say, some of my favorite stuff happens in Uatu's home on the blue area of the moon. Scott Lang. There's a whole storyline in the Matt Fraction FF where Scott Lang is really wanting revenge on Doctor Doom, and he's kind of solely focused on it. And it doesn't seem that Doom is doing anything nefarious at first, but throughout that run, Doom is actually teaming up with Immortus, a young version of Kang, and Ravana, who is actually turns out to be an alternate universe version of Valeria. And they're trying to get our 616 Doctor Doom to become Doom the Annihilating Conqueror. There's this whole idea that there's something that happens in each universe. Doom becomes Doom the Annihilating Conqueror. And in the sister book that Fraction was writing, the Fantastic Four, who are off searching for a cure, they end up in a place called the Doomed Universe, which is where Doom the Annihilating Conqueror is all-powerful and omnipotent and has destroyed everything. And so you're seeing the Fantastic Four in a different universe, and you're seeing Scott Lang and the Future Foundation in this universe, both battling the idea of Doom the Annihilating Conqueror in different ways. Doom, there's a lot of things that happen. Captures Alex Power's parents, forces Alex Power to become like a traitor, a mole within the FF, tells him he has to kill Scott Lang. There are other people in play there. There's this pink gas alien who was Julius Caesar back in the day, and is still living to this day. And there's a lot of crossover between Fraction was writing Fantastic Four and Future Foundation. So they saved Julius Caesar in the Fantastic Four, and then he's still living today. It's actually an alien, not Julius Caesar himself, but living today and has amassed a huge amount of wealth and wants to help the Future Foundation get the Fantastic Four back. He wants to repay the debt. But they all start to decide they want to kill Scott Lang. Everybody wants to kill Scott Lang. Scott Lang builds this teleporter, and right before the thing goes off and Scott Lang dies, he teleports his entire team to Uatu's house without asking. Shows up at Uatu's house out of nowhere. Uatu and his partner, who is pregnant with Uatu's son or daughter, they're just having a nice cozy day at their big house on the blue side of the moon, and all of the kids show up. And Scott Lang apparently doesn't know how to pronounce Uatu's name. He calls him Uatu. And Bentley23 starts cracking up and goes, ha ha ha, that's so funny. You're a guy who just stands there and does nothing as things fall apart around him, and your name is Uatu? Oh, that's so good. It's really wonderful. There's a lot of things that happen when they're up on the blue side of the moon. So Uatu actually plays a big part of the Matt Fraction run of the FF. And I hope that's why he's here. But, okay, Uatu has a trait. I am here to observe the important cosmic events that are about to unfold. Whenever a character within range uses probability control and the finalized result is different from the original result, a result before any rerolls such as a miss becomes a hit, a successful breakaway becomes a failed breakaway, etc., etc., after resolutions, gain 1 mission point. Okay, mission point. Okay, what do you do with the mission points? Wow. Whenever a character within range uses probability control in the finalized result, so I guess for leadership, for all kinds of things, for super senses, etc., etc. Oh, on the back here we go. Mission points. The game ends when, after the resolution of any action, a player has achieved 20 or more mission points from any source. If the game ends this way, the winner is determined by the player with the most mission points. In the case of a tie, the active player wins, but, okay, whoa. Oh, wow. Okay. For a long time, I've played HeroClix Online, or I did play HeroClix Online at a couple of different sites, Creation Matrix, HC Realms, and different online HeroClix fantasy leagues, basically, where you draft characters, and sometimes we have to play themes. We have to, bank robbery, for instance, and you build your team according to the scenario that you're playing in, and you try to achieve something in a mission as opposed to and we've seen some of these on maps in the game as well. But to see it on a character card, that reminds me of those teams. You know, you would want to build from your roster the best team capable of completing a mission. And now, with Uatu, if you build a team, if I am correct here, let's look at the card again. Within range uses probability control, and it just says a character, not friendly, not opposing. And the finalized result is different from the original result. Gain 1 mission point. If you get to 20, and it doesn't matter if Uatu is re-rolling, or if anybody on your team is re-rolling, or anybody on your opponent's team is re-rolling, as long as they are within range, doesn't even say line of sight, and he's got 12 range. Oh my gosh. 12 range, anybody within range uses probability control, he gets a point. You get to 20 points, you win. And unless your opponent also has Uatu and is gaining mission points, I believe, at the same time, they're going to lose that game. It's not about KOs anymore. It's about mission points. My head just exploded. This is awesome. I didn't even look at his dial. Okay, let's see. He's got 5 clicks, phasing, a 19 defense. So there's going to be a lot of PC going on even to just land a hit against a guy with a 19 natural defense. And I do love the fact that he has zeros for attack and damage on his first click, but then slowly starts to get involved. And that last click, 12 attack, 4 damage. That's awesome. And of course, Original Sin is there. If you remember Original Sin, Uatu is actually murdered. His eyes are taken. There's a big pulse wave that happens, and everybody's filled with all of these dark secrets of the Marvel Universe. Specifically for the Fantastic Four, the Thing is shown that his last chance to become human again, Reed had a perfect environment set up in his lab. He was like, this is the time. I'm going to turn you back into your human self. You're not going to be a rock form anymore. Johnny Storm walked in the room. Johnny Storm opened the containment chamber. Johnny Storm sat down and was like, this is so funny. They're going to try and do this thing with Ben again. He shut the thing. He was standing there. Ben goes in. Reed shows up. He puts Ben in the chamber. Ben comes out all deformed. He's human for 1 second, and then it falls apart, and Ben is crushed. And he's like, you said this was it, Stretch. You said this is the last chance you had, and you said you knew what you were doing. Once Ben leaves, and he kind of quits for a little while, Johnny tells Reed, I sat in that chamber. What did I do? Did I ruin it all? And Reed says, you can never tell him, but yes, you did. Were you on fire before you went in? Your temperature, your weight, your mass, the particles that were inside, everything was perfectly set up for Ben, and you going in there ruined his last chance at becoming human. And Ben finds that out in Original Sin. The Watcher has all of these horrible events and all these things in his head, stored in his head. And Original Sin is a crazy story. It's nuts. Nick Fury goes off the rails. It's worth a read, but it's crazy. But anyway, mission points are a thing now in HeroClix. It's not just about KOs. It's not just about outlasting your opponent. It's now about figuring out the best way to achieve those mission points. So sometimes I think you're going to have to build to go all in, right? If I pack Uatu, I want everybody on my team having probability control. I want everybody on my team not even being high damage dealers. I want high natural defense probability controllers. That's what I want on my team. And I want you to have to re-roll to try and hit me as many times as possible. And if I get to 20, it's done. It's done. Game, set, match, I win. That is crazy. Whew! Okay, that is it for day 2 of our HeroClix Future Foundation unboxing series. I am oh, wait. I think I have one more thing I'm going to share with you guys today. Thank you, Zach in the booth. Zach in the booth, producing all of this stuff. Everybody out there, give a hand to Zach for helping us out every single time we come here to Hyper RPG. He just reminded me that I have the Play at Home kit. And I definitely wanted to share that with you guys before we go today. Whew, okay. Man, my mind was so blown from the mission point situation that, I was going to move out of here. Okay, for the Play at Home kit, which you can order through your store, I think it's available online as well, directly from WizKids. But again, just make sure that you're supporting your local stores. Look at that beautiful Invisible Woman. She has the Fantastic Four and Ultimates team ability. She comes in at 45 points. And this is what you get here. Take a look at her card real quick. Invisible Woman, Fantastic Four, and Spy. Set number 100. I can make anything invisible is her trait. Choose a character within range and line of fire. This turn, that character does not block lines of fire. Oh, that's pretty cool. Look at the back here. 5 clicks long. Some stealth, some outwit, high natural defense. 45 points for those 5 clicks is pretty great. You know, Sue Storm is, she's not underestimated, not by writers in the Marvel Universe, because she can go toe-to-toe with anybody. I mean, if you remember, she was the key to ending the Age of Ultron, right? You know, if you remember, she was the one that when they took her kids away, single-handedly put the Avengers down outside of the Baxter's building in the James Robinson run. I mean, she is so incredibly powerful, and I just love anytime we get new iterations of her that do very specific things at a lower cost. But man, having those uber powerful versions of Invisible Woman are pretty incredible. Okay, let's take a look at the map. I'm going to open it up here and show you all. Okay. We've got on one side the desert wedding outdoor. Oh, okay. All right. This is from, if you guys can see it, the desert side. I think it's from Ben and Alicia's wedding, I believe, in the Dan Slott run. And on the other side, we have the negative zone indoor, which is, of course, that huge, I think it's that huge prison that they have in the negative zone, I think, you know, that they kind of built out there. So there you go. As far as the negative zone map, let's see, there is some text on the map. Take a look at it real quick. Orange squares are blocking terrain that can't be destroyed, moved through, or have markers placed on them. Yeah. The negative zone indoor. There's portals that go in and out. And there you go. That's the map you get and the figure that you get from the Play at Home kit that, again, normally, since we can't play everywhere in person, I know some places are doing so, hopefully, really safely. In California, we can't at all. So it's a way for WizKids to reach out and say, hey, this is what we're going to be doing for this set, and we want to share it with you at home as we go through this all together. Okay, that officially is the end of day 2. We got our first super rare today, Uatu. We got a lot more sidekicks and allies. We got a bunch of power pack. We got our first object today in the ultimate Nullifier, which is just a crazy gamble machine in terms of HeroClix. What I'm hoping for going forward is that we see Diablo or the High Evolutionary, you know, the people that really made up the Council of Doom as they tried to take down the Council of Reeds. I definitely am hoping to get Scott Lang because at the end of the FF run, Scott Lang realizes something about the Pym particles that nobody else has ever realized before. It makes him uber powerful, and he puts Doom down himself. He single-handedly dismantles everything about Doom, disrupts Latveria. He disrupts the loyalty that people have in him. He disrupts his financials. He disrupts, I mean, because the Moloids are like elite class hackers. They're putting all of Doom's personal information out there on the internet. And then physically, he strips him of his armor and strips him of his pride. Scott Lang is somebody I really, really am hoping for. Of course, I'm hoping to pull a chase. I'm not sure what we'll get. I think I know that the primes are probably going to be Mad Thinker, Diablo, Wizard, and hopefully High Evolutionary, maybe one at each level. And I am hoping to pull them throughout the course of the rest of the week here. More items would be awesome. I'd love to see more villains. You know, there's so much we got in the Fantastic Four set, so I'm really just up for anything at this point in Future Foundation. That being said, I once again am Scott Porter. I want to thank you all for watching. I want to thank WizKids for sending us this amazing brick early and enabling me to share it with you guys. I want to thank Hyper RPG Studios. Find them on Twitch and on YouTube. Check out all their content. I promise you will not be disappointed. Once again, the set comes out February the 17th. Hopefully, Stay tuned for news and more, but it's never too early to call your local gaming store or comic shop and place an order and just support them. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you back here again tomorrow, and until I do, may all your rolls be critical hits.